Hey, what's up? One of the headline fixes was addressing an issue where armor could undergo Transcendence even when the upgrade hadn't been unlocked under certain conditions. Basically, a progression glitch that could let gear skip ahead of itself, which understandably confused some folks and risked breaking intended flow for builds and stat gating. That was patched so your armor progression behaves like it should now. Another weird one that people were seeing involved pendants equipped to the Psycret in second and third save slots suddenly becoming unequipped after restarting the game. Imagine customizing loadouts, swapping saves, and then noticing accessories you carefully slotted are gone. Yeah, irritating. The hotfix ensures pendants stay where you put them across those save slots, which is a relief if you run multiple characters or experiment with different setups. Alongside that, the team fixed a small but immersion-breaking UI bug, where the carving icon that pops up when you're carving a monster could appear in the wrong place, which made some moments look off or confusing when trying to carve quickly after a hunt. On the stability front, they called out a rare crash during cutscenes that could happen when wearing certain equipment. This crash was one of those truly maddening sporadic problems. Nobody likes losing progress or getting thrown back to dashboard or desktop during a cinematic, and the patch includes a fix for that scenario, plus a note that other miscellaneous issues were addressed. The general takeaway is the patch is focused on making caught edge cases stop biting more players. It's small scale, but meaningful for consistent play. It's also important for players who jump into online runs to know that installing the latest version of Monster Hunter Wilds is required if you want to access online multiplayer and downloadable content. If you've been playing on a few different machines or haven't updated, that requirement will block you off from cooperative hunts until you patch. Additionally, the hotfix reiterated platform and driver guidance for a more stable experience. The developer notes recommend updating to modern drivers to avoid GPU-related problems, and they spelled out specific versions that are tested and recommended for the best results. The patch notes call out NVIDIA GeForce driver version 581.57 or newer, and AMD Radeon driver version 25.9.1 or newer as the preferred versions to be on to minimize issues. And they also warn that some problems have been identified with AMD Radeon driver version 25.10.2 and higher on certain cards. So, if you run into trouble, rolling back to the tested drivers is something a number of players have done while waiting on a driver-side fix. This advice is especially relevant for PC players experiencing crashes and device-removed errors tied to graphics drivers. You might remember the larger update earlier in the week. That major release brought new arch-tempered content, a bunch of system optimizations that aimed to reduce CPU and GPU load, and other endgame additions. And after that, landed a group of players reported odd behavior, which prompted this follow-up hotfix. Those optimizations have been a multi-step effort to reduce VRAM usage, lower CPU bottlenecks, and steady frame rates across consoles and PC. The hotfix is not a reversal of those changes, but rather a targeted sweep to catch the fallout from them. People testing on Xbox and PS5 have reported steadier frame rates in general, and PC players have seen mixed results depending on hardware and drivers, which is why the driver notes are so prominent in the patch details. I want to be clear about what this hotfix is and isn't. It isn't another content update stuffed with new quests or armor sets. It's a focused corrective update that fixes progression, accessory persistence, UI placement for carving, and a rare crash tied to cutscenes and equipment. Those are the sort of fixes that make your playthrough feel less janky and more reliable, which is huge when you consider how much build planning and long hunts depend on predictable behavior. For anyone who's been juggling multiple save slots, farming specific drops, or relying on cutscenes for storytelling or pacing, these small fixes smooth out what had been rough edges. For the folks who've had ongoing crash issues, keep in mind that driver conflicts and mod interference have been common culprits in the broader performance discussion. If your game still crashes after applying this hotfix and running the recommended drivers, the usual troubleshooting steps people talk about: verifying game files, removing mods, and ensuring drivers are exactly the recommended versions and are still relevant, but the hotfix should eliminate the particular crashes it targeted. Paying attention to both ends, game patches and GPU drivers, is important until everything stabilizes further. Overall, this patch is small in size but meaningful in impact. It closes a progression exploit involving armor transcendence, preserves accessory loadouts across multiple save slots, fixes a distracting carving icon displacement, eliminates a rare but nasty cutscene crash, and bundles miscellaneous stability improvements that tighten up the experience. If you've been waiting for the game to feel more polished after the larger February changes, this is the follow-up suite that helps get it there.